In Athens, the Duke Theseus is preparing for his marriage to Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons. Hermia refuses to follow her father Eu's instruction to marry Demetrius, whom he has chosen for her, because she loves Lysander. At the same time, Helena, Hermia's friend, loves Demetrius. Lysander and Hermia plan to leave Athens and to meet in the forest. Demetrius is informed of Hermia and Lysander's elopement and follows them. So, Helena follows Demetrius. In the forest outside Athens, Oberon, the king of fairies, and his queen Titania have come. Titania insists on keeping one of his pages. To get what he wants, Oberon decides to enchant the queen. He sent his helpmate, the spirit Puck, to fetch a pansy. This flower has a magic love juice. While Titania is sleeping, Oberon charms her by putting the juice on her eyelids. Oberon instructs Puck to apply the same to Demetrius so that he will fall in love with Helena. But Puck mistakes Lysander for Demetrius, and therefore Lysander falls in love with Helena. Meanwhile, a theater company is rehearsing Pyramus and Thisbe to be performed at Theseus' wedding. Nick Bottom, one of the players, has an ass head placed on his shoulders by Puck. Bottom's song wakes Titania, who falls in love with him as a result of the love potion. Oberon tells Puck to put a magic herb on Titania's eyelids to break the spell. Oberon puts to sleep all other humans who are in the forest to restore order in everyone's feelings. The lovers are awakened by Theseus, Hippolyta, and Aegeus, who forgive the couples. Bottom returns to normality. The marriages between Theseus and Hippolyta, Hermia and Lysander, and Helena and Demetrius are celebrated. During the ceremony, the play Pyramus and Thisbe is performed by Bottom and his theater company.
Shakespeare is considered to be one of the renowned authors in the 15th and 16th century, along with his contemporaries like Christopher Marlowe, Thomas Dekker, John Webster, John Ford, and the likes. And he is also considered as the most influential writer in all English literature because of his numerous plays and almost 150 sonnets. One interesting thing about Shakespeare is his career bridged the reigns of Elizabeth I, who ruled from 1558 to 1603, and James I, who ruled from 1603 to 1625. And take note, he was a favorite of both monarchs. Shakespeare's plays were divided into three categories. The first one is tragedy. Under tragedy, we have here the play of Romeo and Juliet, King Lear, Hamlet, Macbeth, and the likes. And the next category is comedy. Under comedy, we have here the Twelfth Night, the Tempest, the Taming of the Shrew, Merchant of Venice, and many more. And in this presentation, we will be discussing to you, or we will be presenting to you, the details and facts about one of his comedy play entitled A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is considered to be as the strangest and most delightful creation.
Shakespeare draws on sources as various as Greek mythology, like for example, in the story A Midsummer Night's Dream, the character of King Theseus was based on a Greek mythology hero named Theseus. And then second, unlike any other plays of William Shakespeare, this story uses an Athenian setting. And lastly, it includes mystical and supernatural creatures like fairies.
And also Midsummer Night's Dream is peppered with reference to Greek gods and goddesses.
For example, in the story A Midsummer Night's Dream, the character of Puck, or Robin the Goodfellow, was a popular figure in the year 16th century stories.
Furthermore, many of the characters are drawn from the diverse texts, like for instance, Titania comes from the Ovid's Metamorphoses. Titania's husband, Oberon, may have been taken from the medieval romance One of Bordeaux, who was translated by Lord Berners in the mid-1530s.
Unlike the plots of many Shakespeare's plays, the story A Midsummer Night's Dream seems not to have been drawn from any particular sources, but rather to be the original product of the playwright's imagination.
Now thou and I on you in amity, and will tomorrow midnight solemnly dance in Duke Theseus' house triumphantly, and blessed to theirs fair prosperity. There shall the pairs of faithful lovers be, wedded with Theseus and all in jollity.
It is thought that Shakespeare wrote this play to be performed first at the country house of a young nobleman as part of his wedding. During this event, A Midsummer Night's Dream presents an astonishingly complex set of self-referential scenes, like when Shakespeare's company performed Act 5, where the lovers are watching the other men and women doing on stage exactly what they themselves were doing in real life.
Which is thought fit in all Athens to play in our interlude before the Duke and Duchess on his wedding day at night.
First, good Peter Quince, say what the play treats on, then read the names of the actors, and so grow to a point.
Mary, our play is the most lamentable comedy and most cruel death of Pyramus and Thisbe.
A very good piece of work, I assure you, and a merry. Now, good Peter Quince, call forth your actors by the scroll. Masters, spread yourselves.
Answer as I call you, Nick Bottom the Weaver.
Ready? Name what part I am for and proceed.
You, Nick Bottom, are set down for Pyramus.
What is Pyramus? A lover or a tyrant?
A lover that kills himself most gallant for love.
That will ask some tears in the true performing of it. If I do it, let the audience look to their eyes. I will move storms. I will condole in some measure. To the rest.
Francis Fleur.
Yet my chief humor is for a tyrant. I could play Hercules rarely, or a part to tear a cat in to make all split.
One of the guests at this noble wedding was Queen Elizabeth I of England, and the play is full of references to her. Both Hippolyta and Titania embody certain aspects of Elizabeth's royal mystique. Hippolyta, as the beautiful Amazon queen, recalls Elizabeth's reputation for military prowess, as well as her proud refusal to take a husband. Perhaps, the play's notion of a marriage between Hippolyta and King Theseus was meant to refer to the League of Amity signed between Queen Elizabeth of England and the King of France at the time that the play was written.
Now, my fair Hippolyta, Nuptial hour draws on apace. 4 happy days bring in another moon. But oh, methinks how slow this all will wane. It lingers my desires, like a stepdame or a dowager, long withering out a young man's revenue.
4 days will quickly steep themselves in night. 4 nights will quickly dream away the time. And then the moon, like to a silver bow, you bent in heaven, shall behold a night of solemnities.
Go Philostrate, stir up the Athenian youths to merriment. Hippolyta, I wooed thee with my sword, and won thy love doing the injuries, but I will wed thee with another key, with pomp, with triumph, and with revelry.
Titania, the Queen of Fairies. Shakespeare represents Titania as a great patroness of music, dancing, and arts, as Elizabeth famously attempted to be. Moreover, the very notion of a fairy queen refers unmistakably to another famous work of the period, Edmund Spenser's The Fairy Queen, intended as an elaborate celebration of Elizabeth and her court.
But with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport. Therefore the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, hath sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which falling in the land, hath every pelting river made so proud, that they have overborne their continents. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air that rheumatic diseases do abound. And through this distemperature we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts fall in the fresh lap of the crimson rose, and on old Heme's thin and icy crown, an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is as in mockery set. The spring, the summer, the childing autumn, angry winter change their wonted liveries, and the mazed world by their increase now knows not which is which.
Shakespeare's clearest allusion to the royal member, Queen Elizabeth, comes in Act 2, Scene 1, when Oberon describes to Puck the fateful flower, love in idleness, that will produce magic juice. According to the Fairy King, one night in the woods, Cupid, all armed, took aim at a fair vestal thrown by the west. His arrow missed and pierced the flower instead, while the maiden passed on fancy-free. When Shakespeare was writing this play, a passage such as this once would not only praise Elizabeth for her famous virginity, but would also celebrate her recent miraculous escape from a real physical harm. Not only would Elizabeth avoid Cupid's arrow for her entire life, but she also managed to escape a plotted assassination in the year 1594. This is hardly a mere bit of poetic fancy, but instead, it seems an elaborate compliment to the Virgin Queen Elizabeth.
Now, here are some of the famous lines found in the story A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare.
So this is just a simple documentary about the Midsummer Night's Dream, which was written by William Shakespeare. And I do hope, guys, that you have learned something from the video, and I hope you enjoyed watching. And that's all. So thank you and God bless.
Love is so magical, like the four Athenians in the story A Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm Tatiana Bueno. Thank you for watching.
Love never did run smooth. Greetings from the Philippines, I am Jazel Kaison, and as for the story of the Midsummer Night's Dream, I would really like to advise that you will read it. You can get a copy of it from any bookstore, any national bookstore around the world. You can learn lots of morals in it, especially when you're planning to marry someday. Once again, I am Jazel Kaison, and thank you.
Thank you for